Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So this video here, I'm going to be taking you guys through how I made this sun and surf painting. I did this at the DNA Custom Paints training course. I'm going to take you guys right through everything from doing the flags to putting the shading in through the masking as well. I forgot to record us putting the masking on, but you'll be able to get the basic idea of exactly what we've done. So you can see we painted that panel there with some black base coat first. I skipped that step out. I've then put a nice closed coat of 2K clear over the top of it, the diamond clear, DNA diamond clear. I'm then going over the top of that with the dry flakes gun. This dry flakes gun's basically just like a stone guard gun. And as you can see, the stuff's just going all over the place. It looks like confetti at a parade or something like that. So just getting I decided to do a coat from either side. I thought that might help me get it a little bit even. It turned out that it was a little bit uneven. There was, I guess, what you'd usually call mottling, like a little bit stripy in one section. However, by the time we'd done all the masking and we got all that candy over it, there was no mottling whatsoever that you could see. There's enough to break it up. So if you were doing something like this over a bonnet or something like that and you didn't want to do masking, you may have to be extremely careful because yeah, there is a good chance you might get a bit of mottling. So we let that first couple of coats of clear dry right down, and we then put another 2 coats over that, and we left it overnight, and then we then sanded it down. And as you can see, so this is the following day after sanding those say 3 or 4 coats of clear back down. We've basically filled up those flakes, so our clear is now sitting above where those flakes are. Now we can actually start to put our design on. I got a little bit of help from the trainer here. I'm not claiming, I did everything, but I came up with the design for the waves and stuff like that, and the trainer here, he gave us a hand with the those lines, and I decided to turn those lines into a bit of a sun. So yeah, it was a bit of a joint effort, but I feel like I created something after doing this course, and I definitely my confidence has grown in doing this kind of stuff. So I decided on this first ray of sunshine to make it a bit darker, and as I move up, just have it sort of fade on each ray to fade up to a lighter sort of gradient. And I also so this is actually black candy. It's not just normal black base coat, it's black candy. And we've mixed that up. All of our candies, we've mixed them up with FX Intercoat, which is just basically the clear base coat, and we've mixed it up to 100 grams of Intercoat and then 30 grams of the candy. I guess you can do what you want with this kind of stuff. All the usual rules for spray painting when you're doing this kind of stuff sort of really does go out the window, like with your film thicknesses and all that kind of stuff. However, there's definitely some fundamentals which obviously are still going to be there. So yeah, as you can see here, I'm just using that minigun. That's just got a 0.8mm on it. Part of the reason was I wanted to get it a nice shading around there, but also we were running out of guns as well, so I just thought I'd put the black candy in there. And next up, I've got the dark blue candy. I apologize, I can't remember the actual names of some of these candies, but yeah, stay tuned in the future. I'll actually do a review on the DNA color book, so you'll get a bit more of an idea exactly which color is which. Also, you can just check out their website, which I'll be putting a link to in the description below, and that's got all the names and the colours of their candies. But I find that with a computer screen you don't really get the full effect, which is actually why I decided to buy that colour book, so I can sort of show my customers the full range and they can actually see in person exactly how it looks. So I'm just going over all those edges where I've got the wave, and I'm just going that with the darker candy, and then I've got sort of more of a turquoise type teal candy nearly and I'm going to be going over the top of that. That's also going to deepen up that darker blue as well, and also give a bit of colour behind there too. So it really is very basic design, but it's very effective. Yeah, I'm very happy with how this thing turned out, and the knowledge I gained was priceless. These guys don't really do this course to make money, and they don't make money off it. It's more of a service, and I can just imagine the amount, because it's $300 per day, Australian dollars, and the amount of paint that you would go through, it wouldn't even cover that, let alone they've got the trainers and everything else it takes. So yeah, it's definitely worth doing if you're in the Australia or Melbourne area. Next up, I'm just going over that sun area with the light yellow. I think this one was called Sunrise Yellow Candy from memory. Again, I'm just guessing. And I'm just going over that with 2 coats. As you can see, I literally didn't leave it very long for the first coat to flash off. Just dusted it off with a bit of air. We've got the heat on in the booth, so it's all solvent based, so it's drying off quite quickly. And same thing, I'm not even too fussed about a bit of cross contamination from the yellow to the red. You know, it's not going to do any harm. You can mix these candies together and make your own, and as you can see here, you can go over the top of one candy and you're not going to have any reactions. And just with this one, I just decided to keep that low with that darker red, and I then decided I may as well put a bit around this sort of sun area, just to give it a bit more effect. There's no right, there's no wrong as far as your designs go. I mean, you obviously don't want to overload your product. If I was just to go and put 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coats of candy on, well then yeah, that's wrong. But as far as the design goes, it's up to you. If it doesn't look good, well, you know, it's artwork at the end of the day. It's beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What I think looks good, some of you guys might have a look at this and say, mate, that's terrible. But, you know, I don't get to create stuff like this very often, and I definitely had a good time. Decided to take you guys through all the steps. I hope you guys enjoy it too. And hopefully after this, you guys can, you know, take a few tips and create some of this kind of stuff yourself. So the only other thing I missed out on was I put another touch. I thought it needed something in the center there. I didn't want to use any color, so I just decided to put a little bit more of that black candy through the center. So I just got some more masking paper and threw some over the top and the bottom, and just put a touch of that black in there, so you can see I did that. Next up, just carefully pulling all the masking off. Obviously careful that you don't peel the edges up. Basically, just as soon as that base coat, as soon as that candy has flashed off, you just want to pull that off. You don't want to wait around for too long, I've found. Sometimes when it's fresher, it'll actually have less chance of peeling back and stuff like that. So, a couple of coats of clear, and this thing's going to come up really nice. You wait till you get a couple of coats of clear, and it really brings the flakes back up. At the moment, it's still looking pretty nice. I mean, there's a couple of things that I could have done different. I think back on it, maybe I could have cut the sun out of those stripes, but all in all, it looks really good. So just setting that gun back up. So it's a DeVilbiss GTI Pro with the 1.2mm, and it's got the TE110 air cap, which is quite similar to the original GTI Pro, which they've got the TE110, sorry, not the TE110. Set the gun up a little bit differently to how I used to. These guys here, I've got a few different methods. So they have their fluid wound in most of the way, so just a couple of turns out, and then they have the fan closed in. They only come out, say, 1 1/4 turns with the fan, and then about 2 bar of pressure. So as you can see straight away, first coat of clear, it's come up real nice. Not too much junk in it either. considering there's 4 of us in the booth, I was quite happy with the amount of dust I got in there. I didn't even tack rag it prior to clearing. Just giving it 2 coats of this Diamond Clear is a clear coat I'm using. It's a 2-to-1 and 15% reducer we've found is the best amount. You go 10%, it's still quite thick. It's a HS clear. Obviously they've deliberately manufactured a high solids clear for stuff like this, because you really do need that film thickness, especially with stuff like filling up those flakes. So if you're doing, say, the filling up the flake step, maybe you could just drop it back to 10% and give yourself a bit more build. So there you go, it is just about finished off. We just gave it a half-hour bake. We then come back, and this one and one of the ones the other guy did actually made it into the showroom. Most of them don't make it into the showroom, the trainer said, but he decided to put these in. I think this one came up quite nicely too. I gave him the idea for the wave. He just had a bit of a border around there, and I just said, hey mate, you should put a little wave in there, like the rip curl or something like that, and come up with quite a nice shading effect there through the center as well. Bit of a different nice blue around the outside, and quite happy with how that came up. This guy was a panel beater, so he's done a good job. 2 insurance assessors from Suncorp, Shannon's Insurance. They insure a lot of custom vehicles and stuff like that, so they sent these assessors out to get a bit of a better idea on how to quote a lot of those custom paint jobs. So good on them that they did that, and this is the one that the other guy did. I think he might have put a touch too much of the candy on that one, and it did shrink back, I think, with his clear coat being a bit heavy too, but these two held their gloss quite nicely after a bake. Obviously we're not going to be spending time polishing them. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, hope it's inspired you guys to do a bit of this kind of stuff yourself. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.